Good evening, everyone. Gareth Monk here from popular Storm FM panel show Matter of Fiction. I'm speaking to you from the past right now, in which I'm currently editing this very episode. At a couple of points in the show, you'll notice that Rory's voice actually becomes mine for a second or so. This is due to a few of the sentences being lost during the recording process due to unexplained technical difficulties. I've put this disclaimer in so no one gets freaked out by the fact that Rory's voice actually changes into mine. So I hope you all enjoy the show, and thanks for listening.
Hello, and welcome to...
A Matter of Fiction.
I'm your host, Rory Cook, and in this programme we impart strange truths and concoct weird lies. This week we are live from Slough, a place described by its tourist information board as a plumbing fixture primarily intended for the disposal of human excreta, urine and faecal matter. On tonight's show we have on Team Light, Team Captain Dan Short, he's dressed for radio.
I'm pleased to be here.
And a member of the DNA, that's the National Dyslexics Association, Cathal McCabe.
Hi, Rory.
Welcome to the show. And on Team Fire, we have the team captain, too sexy for his shirt, Adrian McElroy Speed.
I hide under tables.
And possibly a possum, Lauren Core Dobson.
What's up, Pudding Cup?
Welcome to the show. Round one is called Stranger Than Fiction. Each team is given a real but ridiculous fact. They then make up the other two facts within 30 seconds, and the other team must guess which is the actual fact. So I'll just give the teams their facts there. Team Light, Team Fire, there you go. Okay, and you have 30 seconds, and your 30 seconds start now.
Okay, right.
This is where I generally just talk. Nothing really special there. We have had a lot of emails in for the competition. That is what is the capital of Australia? Is it A, Canberra, B, Sydney, C, Perth? Remember to email studio@stormfm.com for your chance for your name to be picked out of the hat and get a picture signed by all the people of A Matter of Fiction. And this is Group A, and they still have all to play for. Any of the teams in Group A, that's Dan and Cathal, Adrian and Lauren, and also Seth and Alex, who aren't here on the show tonight. They have a chance to go through to the final and play Gareth and Phil. So, that's the 30 seconds teams.
Okay. Oh, good.
We'll start with Team Light, that's Dan and Cathal. Please, reveal your facts.
Okay, our facts today are based around Valentine's Day and how it came to be the holiday it is today. So first off, Saint Valentine was originally a Greek demigod figure known for devouring his enemies' hearts.
The act of giving a heart shape out on Valentine's Day originated from surrenders between Gallic tribes when they delivered the heart of their leader to the victorious enemy.
And third of all, St. Valentine's Day is actually no longer recognised as an official holiday by the Catholic Church.
Okay, Team Fire, any thoughts on those facts?
He was a demigod that ate hearts.
Very much so. I mean, have you played God of War or the story of Hercules? Both started off as normal blokes.
How did a demigod that ate hearts symbol of love in the Western world?
Well, it's pretty obvious, really, and I think it's so obvious that I shouldn't have to explain it.
Okay, remember the story of Neptune with his trident, and how the Catholic Church managed to put the spin on that and turn him into Satan with Satan's pitchfork? This is exactly what happened. It's just spin, it's PR. It's PR. This guy was probably... Look, we don't know who he was. This guy was probably a normal bloke who went around eating enemies' hearts and in Greek folklore then became a demigod.
Poseidon is not Satan!
No, I know!
Actually, you clearly you weren't listening because it said it devoured his enemies. Now, anybody's enemy is a bad guy. Technically, he went around devouring bad guys' hearts. And to be honest, I think that is a good message for Christianity.
Okay, but if he's a demigod, why does he need to eat anyway? I thought they didn't need to eat.
Again, demigod, half man, half god. So you've seen the classic Disney film Hercules. He's immortal, he has godlike powers. He has to go around and earn those powers by devouring his enemy's heart.
People don't smoke. They don't have to smoke, but they do it anyway. Similar concept here. It's just early smoking, heart eating.
So you're saying ghouls give the hearts of their enemies to their loved ones?
No. They gave the heart of their leader when they're under siege, they would give the heart of their leader, because they've surrendered, to their enemy as a sign of surrender.
That was back in the day before simple waving of the white flag sufficed. It had to be the bloodied, pulsating heart of your former leader.
It was then replaced in the medieval times by a white handkerchief with the ladies and the jousting and things. So yeah, I think I saved you that. Lauren?
But once again, what has this got to do with love?
Adrian?
Yeah, how does this become we all know today of boxes of chocolates and heart-shaped cards and lots of sweaty sex?
Carl?
Well, aside from the sweaty sex, it's to do with giving a heart and giving, like, something that you cared about, which was your leader, to someone that you also care about for someone else. So you're giving this heart to a guy, and you're basically saying, here is the heart of my friend, don't rape my family.
You can just imagine the conversation. It's like, everyone knows about this heart giving when you surrender, and you're so in love with someone, you say, I would give you my heart to you because I surrender to your my attraction to you. Dan?
Again, it's just more spin. It's over the years, this barbaric and brutal practice became something more loving and more caring,
more pleasant,
and more not involving giving out an actual human organ to your enemy, and more poor, cheap facsimile of one.
I mean, a lot of things actually do evolve from different things. Tennis used to be a form of torture in the Middle Ages, and that has become fun and loved sports within the United Kingdom.
I disagree. Dan?
I agree with you, actually. I mean, give it 25 years, waterboarding might be a popular pastime.
Already sounds
many
like a
people.
sport.
I know.
Adrian?
They do have a point. Sudoku were originally invented to be love poems in India.
So, there you go.
There you go. So, you talk yourself out of that one. Maybe the third fact?
Okay, so the Catholic Church doesn't think Valentine's is a proper celebration anymore.
Obviously, this is if you're going to go with this fact, if you're going to believe this fact, you have to believe the notion that Saint Valentine was a member of the Catholic Church, or as part of the Catholic backstory. They are embarrassed by him. They're embarrassed by the legend. They're embarrassed by the poor, cheap holiday that's arisen from it, and they want to distance themselves from it as much as possible. I'm sure the Catholic Church get Valentine's cards from millions of people a year, and they are fed up with having to recycle them all. No one wants to deal with that.
Well, he's got to do something to earn his keep. What else does he do? Just sit in the Sistine Chapel. Adrian?
Roses are red, violets are blue. I ate the Eucharist and now I love you.
What did you have for cereal this morning?
That was what the card said to the Pope. Those were his Valentines.
How do you get a Catholic on a bus?
Don't know. Pokemon.
Oh, good.
Carl?
I mean, it's quite a shame that they don't recognise this holiday. Which I would say rivals Easter and Christmas. The Catholic Church really has become a very cold and unintimate sort of organisation. I don't think there's any actual romance in the Catholic Church anymore.
What, you mean like the Galactic Empire?
Yeah, I mean, it's just become like a cold institution of Jedis and Ewoks, really.
I'll be honest with you, I see three major Catholic religious festivals happening throughout the year. First of all, you have Valentine's Day very early on, then you have Easter coming up with that, and then you have Christmas. Now, let's look at what's happened to them. Valentine's Day, taken over and commercialised. People give letters and big teddy bears with hearts onto each other, and it's not the meaning. It's not the meaning of Valentine's Day. Secondly, Easter, people give chocolate bunnies and eggs to each other. It's become commercialised, and again, it's not the meaning. It's about a guy coming back from the dead. Third of all, Christmas, it's about Jesus Christ's birth, even though Jesus Christ was probably born somewhere around Easter, but never mind. And we do nothing. We've turned it into this story about a fat man who gives presents to other people. It's being commercialised. One of them had to go, and as far as the Catholic Church was concerned, it was the least popular, the one that didn't involve giving chocolates or presents.
I actually disagree with that. I think the most important, as a latent Catholic, is the holiday of Halloween, which, if you've ever been to Rome on Halloween, the Pope comes out. Last year he was dressed as Iron Man. They're all dressed up with different costumes, and they go out trick-or-treating throughout Rome. And it's the most heartwarming and, frankly, just beautiful thing in the Roman Catholic Church.
Can you imagine if they just did it in the Vatican City? And the guy who lived next door to the Pope would be like, hello, who is there? It is me, the Pope. Oh, I love, what are you? I am Emperor Palpatine. You can have a bounty bar.
Okay, Adrian and Lauren, any thoughts as to which is the real fact?
I think, if anything, I have less thoughts in my head now than when I entered this room.
Let's see, there were 2 about hearts and 1 about a holiday. Well, do you have any idea?
Number 3?
I'm willing to go with that one.
Okay, Kahal and Dan, do you want to reveal if that's true or not?
Despite our best efforts, I am so very sorry to admit that it is completely 100% true.
Oh, there you go. 2 points there to Team Fire.
Yay!
Team Fire, you got 2 points there, but are you going to concede 2 points? Let's hear your facts.
Okay, so the correct term for a group of lawyers is a prey. That's fact number 1.
The correct term for elephants is a thunder.
And fact number 3, the correct term for a group of lemons is a snicket.
Nice. Very good.
A prey for lawyers, right? Just how does that work?
Well, lawyers sometimes move in packs. Have you not been to a place where lawyers' offices are side by side, perhaps in a shopping centre, and they're all just congregating around?
They move in packs like German U-boats. Is that right? Lauren?
I mean, Guy, have you ever been in an accident that wasn't your fault? Follow you around, they stalk you like you're their prey.
So they're like birds of prey. Is that the message there?
Absolutely.
Honestly, I did always think that it was just called a group of lawyers or lawyers.
Wait. You're saying the plural of lawyer is lawyers?
Yes. And,
Whoa.
I defend that to the death.
I'm going to move on. I quite like the idea of it being a thunder of elephants. I think because I honestly I can hear a bunch of elephants stampeding might sound like rolling thunder. I like that.
I would, if I was going to describe the sound of elephants coming, I would call it a roller coaster of elephants.
A roller coaster of elephants.
I don't think a roller coaster had been invented at the time a group had been named.
Maybe a motorway of elephants, something that actually describes the way they move rather than that sounds partially like thunder, but more like a stampeding horde.
I think, personally for myself, if I heard that kind of sound and I spun round and saw a herd of stampeding elephants bearing down on me, my first thought wouldn't be, oh, that looks like a roller coaster of elephants. My first thought would be, ah! Elephants!
However, if I was in the Great African Plains and suddenly I heard a, I would not turn around. I would look up and go, storm coming.
Okay.
Adrian?
Thus proving our point that it sounds like thunder.
He's got a good point.
I'm not convinced.
Dan?
Okay, so I think I'm not going to go with prey of lawyers. I'm tempted by thunder of elephants. Snicket of lemons. If it's true, I don't even care if I don't get the points because that's quite possibly the single greatest thing I've ever heard in my life. Was it a snicket of lemons before the books or after?
Lauren?
It absolutely was before. People used to go down to the markets and say, my good man, I'd like a snicket of lemons. And because that's the amount you'd need to ward off scurvy for 1 week.
That's very plausible.
How many lemons are in a snicket, Lauren?
Well, back in the olden times, it was just 1.5 a week.
Okay, Team Light, any thoughts? Which is real?
Okay, I think that I'm pretty sure the correct term for a collection of elephants is a herd of elephants. So that's why I don't think it's that one.
Oh, that's a very good point, actually.
Lemon snicket. I would love it if it was true, but I think that the lawyer one might be true.
Snicket of lemons is still too perfect. I want it to be right, I do, but I would like to be sensible and go for thunder of elephants.
Okay, we'll go for thunder of elephants.
Well, you're the captain, Dan, so...
Unless you have any...
No, that's a pretty good argument, actually. I'll agree with that.
Right, okay. Against my better judgment, because every single time I've gone with a fact in a matter of fiction, it's been wrong first time. I'm going to go with thunder of elephants.
Team Fire?
Well, I'm very pleased to tell you, Dan, that you are wrong.
Why? Oh!
Okay, you can't get 2 points, but you can still get 1. Are you going to redeem yourself? What is your second choice?
Prey or Lemony Snicket?
I don't know. I genuinely don't. Guy, I'm going to go with whatever you say.
Now, you see, now I've suddenly had doubts because before I was like a prey of lawyers. Now I've thought, because Lemony Snicket sounds like just a fake name.
I swear to God, those are the two that I thought I knew in my head were the joke answers, and now we have to choose.
I want Lemony Snicket.
What are we going with, Dan?
Lemony Snicket.
I want to say Prey of Lawyers. Oh, so badly. I don't want to offend Guy, and it's Guy's choice now, so whatever you go with.
I think Lemony.
Are you sure on this one?
Yes, I want it to be right.
Okay, right.
Alright, Team Fire, Lemony Snicket, true or false?
Well, I'm very sorry to say that is false.
Oh, that's it. I'm leaving. I'm going. That's it. I'm tied up. I'm done. I am done, Guy. You're doing this on your own.
We should have stuck with my original gut answer.
I tried to turn it back to Prey. Oh, let's face it. We are not suited to this show.
We would not be good. We should not read Wikipedia.
Okay, the end of that round, Team Fire, Adrian and Lauren have 2. Team Light, Dan and Kahal have none. Cats and Nazis. This game is for tonight's guests, that's Kahal and Lauren. Each guest is given 4 unrelated topics, which they must link up via simple, logical steps to form a story which lasts a minute. So, we'll start with Kahal. Your words you have to link up are amber, hedgehog, snowball, and chocolate. So I'm quite looking forward to this story. So you've got a minute, and your minute starts now.
Amber was a very lonely person. She was lonely, she was lost, and she had no direction in life. She wanted something more. Of course, it's very difficult for a hedgehog to get more out of life than to just roll around and wait for the inevitable car to hit her whilst crossing the road. All these thoughts did come to her while she was trying to cross the road, which was a shame because it was a pretty big road. It was actually the A55, and during this crossing of the road, she actually fell and started rolling. But because of the heavy snowfall, she started to roll and became a snowball. The snowball decided to roll down and began to roll and gain momentum until it actually crashed into the Cadbury's town, killing hundreds, absolutely decimating what was left of a once loving chocolate factory. This chocolate factory was just in tears, and there was caramel and melted milk everywhere. It was the best holiday ever.
Thank you for that, Kahal. Okay, Lauren, we'll move on to you. And your words are tyre, queen, dust, and unicorn. And your minute starts now.
So, I was driving down the road in my tractor, and I thought, oh gosh, hope I don't get a puncture. And wouldn't you know it, I got a puncture. Tyres just went everywhere. It really sucks when that happens. So I was stuck at the end of the road, and no one helped me. I was trying to change this tyre, and all these, big strong men walking past on their moustaches, and they just with their moustaches, and they just didn't help. But then suddenly I saw a little glimmery old lady, and it was the Queen, and the Queen stopped to help me. I mean, can you believe it? The actual Queen. And she came and helped me change my tyres, and it was awesome. We had a good chat, and she, because she was quite old, she was a bit dusty, but bits of dust on her, but it's fine. She also smelled like cough drops, which was cool. When the Queen helps you, you get a wish, and I wish for a unicorn.
Yes, that is true. That should be a policy that the Queen had done. Help the Queen, get a wish. Okay, well, I'm actually going to give both points to Kahal for his story about Amber the Hedgehog. That was just beautiful.
Thank you.
So, well done, Team Light.
Yay!
Third round, collaborative fiction. This round is for everyone, played in their team pairs. Each has been given a word or topic that no one else knows except me. And together each pair tell a story incorporating their word, but skillfully concealing it, as they cannot mention their actual word or related words. And the teammates will guess each other's word. So we'll start with Team Fire, that's Adrian and Lauren. I'll just give them their words. Give you a moment to look at those. Only the audience at home can hear this. Lauren's word is lime, and she cannot say green, lemon, fruit, or citrus. Adrian's word is telescope, and he cannot say stars, look, magnifies, or looked. We'll go back and forth, and your story starts with Lauren, and the story starts Jill was always getting in these situations.
Jill was always getting in these situations. She walked along thinking that it was going to be a good day, but then suddenly one of these little sour guys fell down onto her head.
She had tripped over a long tube, which, unfortunately, she had no way of avoiding. It was a very strange device, and she had no idea what to do with it.
She picked up the tube, and then another little sour guy fell out of it. My, it's awfully dotty, as she held it in her hand.
She decided to beat them with the long tube, as that may help. It didn't feel like the tube's original purpose. It looked almost scientific, but beating them was the best thing to do.
But that didn't seem to help, so she had another idea. She squeezed them until all their juices flowed.
All their juices flowed out and all over her hands, and it was the best day ever. She looked up at the sky and screamed, "Yes! I can see everything!"
The end. Okay. Adrian, do you want to have a stab at Lauren's word?
Was it lime?
It was lime!
Yes!
Wow!
Wow, well
Good
done.
night, nicely.
All right, Lauren, do you want to have a stab at Adrian's word?
Was it telescope?
It was telescope!
Yay!
Yay!
Oh dear.
They got the
right.
full 2 points there. Okay, I'll move on to Team Light, which is Dan and Kahal. I'll just give them their words and a moment to read over. Only the audience at home can hear this. Kahal's word is Calpol, and he cannot say medicine, children, cure, or feel better. And Dan's word is fridge, and he cannot say box, cupboard, cold, freezer, cools, or food. Okay, back and forth. Start with Kahal, and your story starts. The peasants were revolting.
The peasants were revolting, and Dr. Parnassus knew that there was only one way that he could sort this out. He knew that, well, if these guys have headaches and their age is from 5 to 12, there is something I can do about this.
So he went into his secret laboratory and he opened up his imaginary case of devices, but he got locked inside. He got trapped. He was trapped and preserved.
In that preserved state, he noticed, my God, I need a prescription. But he couldn't get one because he was preserved in such a perfect state. He was just searching for something that he could find that was in some way going to aid his blinding hangover and headache. He decided to go back out and confront these peasants,
which he wanted to try and stop them being so revolting. He needed to stop their flesh from crawling off their bones, so he took them in, and he threw them in his imaginary case alongside all of the carrots and eggs and crisps.
And in doing so, he realised that he needed something to keep them going. So he tried to feed them a piece of food, but they didn't like that food. So he decided to give them this jar of some preserve that tasted of strawberries, and they liked it. But they didn't want to give them too much of it.
So while they were in there, he thought, I'm going to make some use of you, my friend. I'm going to make some use of you. I need you to pass me. I want you to pass me the milk, and I want you to pass me the eggs and the cheese, because I'm going to make an omelette.
The end. Okay. Kahal, do you want to have a stab at Dan's word?
Right. Okay. There were eggs, there was
cheese and milk.
And there was milk. There was carrots in there, and they were preserves. In my house, we would use a time vortex, but I know that in other and more common households they would use what is known as a refrigerator.
Yes,
yes indeed, it was a fridge.
After all that.
Dan, do you want to have a shot at Kahal's?
Okay, yours was about hangovers and a jar, but it was mainly about hangovers, and there was a little box of things that they needed to have to cure the hangovers. And I'm going to go with headache pills, paracetamol.
No.
But the age limit on it was 5 to 8.
It's Calpol?
Yes!
Yes!
So, Team Light and Team Fire, you both get full points there, so well done. The Curious Case of Mr. DeVries is a traditional fourth round, so we're going to keep with tradition. Now, this round is for our team captains. That's Dan and Adrian. And I've read some biographies recently, and they weren't very interesting, so I've taken the key moments from the biographies, and I'd like our captains to rewrite the life within a minute via simple logical steps. So we'll start with Dan. So he's got to write the biography of Teriyaki. 68.
She collects iceberg samples.
I want to know how. Gifted the coat of curtains. I want to know why. And has a candy floss wig. Why? So your minute starts now.
Teriyaki, age 68, famous sailor, sailed on the Titanic 3 when it made its first voyage. She started off as a type of geologist, an ice geologist, and she was on this voyage because they were going to a forgotten continent south of Antarctica, which no one had heard about, which was also made of ice. And Teriyaki started by abseiling off the Titanic using her famous golden pickaxe, and she picked samples of the ice out. Now, as she was carrying them up to the ship, as was her responsibility, the pickaxe slipped and she fell off the Titanic and she landed in this new frozen continent, and she wandered through the wastelands for years until she came across a village of not quite Inuits but also not quite Eskimos who lived in houses made entirely out of fur and fabric. She spent so long in this town, this village, that she became the leader of all of the Eskimos, and after she saved them from a rogue polar bear or penguin attack, I'm not sure which, she was gifted the coat of their leaders, the coat of their curtains, made from all of the fabric of the houses. Now, as she was wandering around, she found herself on the Titanic 4, which had been sent out to look for her. The Titanic 4 crashed. It so carried away with saving her that it crashed into a nearby continent where there was a circus happening offshore, fell off the boat and into a candy floss machine, which gave her a new candy floss wig.
Okay, thank you for that. It's her life got a bit quicker towards the end, didn't it?
She had a very long and uneventful life until the last sort of 62 years.
There's always room in the sequel, Dan, and you've got to always bear that in mind.
I know. I will write the sequel.
Teriyaki.
Sequel to someone's biography. Right, just live 10 more years, and then I'll come back to you.
Teriyaki 2. Teriyaki harder.
I think if I did call it something like Teriyaki 2, people looking for a cookbook might get a little bit confused.
Adrian's got to rewrite the biography of Sue Age. She's 23. She saved Lassie from drowning. She travelled in a unique way. I want to know what that unique way was. And is afraid of zebra crossings. Why? And your minute starts now.
Sue was a child star from a very young age. At the age of 6, she was in all kinds of television shows. In one famous television show, she teamed up with Lassie. However, in one horrible day, Lassie fell into the fake river that ran throughout the studio, and it was up to the 6-year-old Sue to save the dog. She did this because she'd done 100 metres and got the bronze medal in her local swimming team. Later in life, at about the age of 12, she decided she needed to branch out as an actress, so she decided to travel the world, like all great people do. So she decided that she would fill her shoes full of jelly and use it to bounce from it. Bounce, she would go through London. Bounce, she would go through Moscow. Bounce, bounce, bounce. It was as if she was flying. She was just everywhere, bouncing on her jelly feet. However, she ran afoul of some terrible evil when she was crossing the road at Abbey Road in London. She was hit by a car and ever since has had a terrible fear of zebra crossings.
Well done.
So, dogs can drown in fake rivers, can they?
Just because it was a fake river doesn't mean that it wasn't real water.
That's like saying you can't drown in a swimming pool just because it's not a real body of water.
You said she bounced from planet to planet, but I live in a sort of an age of respect for people. Moscow and London are on the same planet, Adrian, and the Cold War ended a long time ago.
And you said she fell afoul of a terrible evil on Abbey Road when she was hit by a car. What is your problem with cars, Adrian? Why are cars such a terrible evil?
Because they're destroying the earth, man! They emit carbon dioxide, man!
Alright, at the end of that, I'm going to give both points to Adrian. I think both. Final round, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the decider. Who will go into the final? Ooh. A lot of tension in the room. The tension's so thick you can cut it with your face. Thank you for that, Carl. That was a radio demonstration of how you cut tension with a face. This week is called Like an Elaboration, elaborating for the very first time.
Oh no.
This round is for everyone. I would like them to elaborate on a story for me. They will take it in turns to add something to the story, but must repeat what was said previously.
And the order is guest, guest, captain, captain.
And we'll start with Lauren. And the story, Lauren,
Meep.
It starts with, once upon a time there lived an accountant.
Once upon a time there lived an accountant, But contrary to popular beliefs, he was actually quite exciting. He surfed, and this was very, very interesting somehow.
Once there lived an accountant, and contrary to popular belief, he was interesting. He surfed, and on weekends, he robbed banks.
Once upon a time, there was the accountant. Contrary to popular belief, he was interesting because he went surfing and robbed banks. He was very famous for his robbing of banks and had wanted posters throughout the land. These were conflicting with his role as an accountant.
Once upon a time, there was an accountant, and contrary to popular belief, this accountant was interesting. He not only surfed, he also robbed banks, but he was so notorious at robbing banks, he had wanted posters about him all over the land, which contradicted his boringness outside of hours. This accountant decided that he had to go on the run, he had to go on the lam from the FBI.
Once upon a time, there was an accountant who was actually quite interesting, which conflicted with his role as an accountant, but anywho, he carried on with that, and then he decided he had to go on the lam, he had to run away from the FBI, but so he went hitchhiking with a family of ducks.
1, 2, 3 wanted posters noticed the accountant whilst he was on the run from the FBI with his family of ducks. He was a surfer and a bank robber, contrary to the belief that an accountant was boring. He also liked to create jetpacks, which he did with a Rolls-Royce engine and a packet of jelly babies.
A jetpack-making accountant who liked surfing and also robbed banks was on the lam, travelling with a family of ducks, running away from the FBI because wanted posters were everywhere. He counted 4 of them. 4 wanted posters. There was nothing he could do. He had to escape from Detective Strawberry.
The outside of hours Count from Sesame Street was an accountant, and in his free time decided to make jetpacks whilst surfing, which was contrary to the popular belief that all accountants are boring. But the Count noticed he had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 wanted posters, so he decided it was time to run from the FBI. He met his family of ducks and taught them how to fly using his jetpacks, and as they were escaping from the Strawberry Detective, they hit the Rolls-Royce that the Count had taken the engine inside. Weren't very happy he'd stolen their engine.
An accountant was actually quite interesting, contrary to popular belief. He surfed and he robbed banks, and then suddenly he was wanted by the FBI. And then he went on the lam with a family of ducks and the Count from Sesame Street. And then suddenly the Strawberry King was chasing after them as well. Oh no, he thought. And then he got away on his jetpack, taught all the ducks to fly as well, and they were very happy with this, but suddenly they used their powers for evil.
12 years ago, an interesting accountant who was also a count went on the run from the FBI and a strawberry man with his family of ducks. Now he survives as a soldier of fortune who creates jetpacks and other miscellaneous items. If you have a problem and no one else can solve it, you might be able to call his handyman. There's also his brother-in-law, Jeff. He helps to fix pipes during the weekends.
About 12 years ago, I met a man who had a problem. He wanted money to feed his surfing habit because he was a boring accountant, and surfing was the only joy he had left. So he robbed banks, but soon he had too many wanted posters and had to go on the lam with his family of ducks, which he trained to fly using jetpacks. Making jetpacks was also his hobby. He fled from Detective Strawberry with a Count from Sesame Street, and also his brother Jeff, who's a plumber for some reason. But then the ducks turned evil and started attacking Mordor.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years ago, a Count goes on the lam with his family of ducks and jetpack that he make from Rolls-Royce engine. Family in Rolls-Royce not very happy about the stealing of the Rolls-Royce engine. Count decided to rob banks, but saw 1, 2, 3, 4 pictures wanted with the FBI, and the Strawberry Detective was chasing him, so he fled with his family of ducks, who he taught to fly using the jetpack, where he met his brother Jeff, who was a mechanic for some strange reason. But no, the ducks decided they wanted more. They wanted more than the Count could give them, so they decided to use their powers for evil and robbed Mordor, and the Count decided the only way to fix this was to get everyone to sing a song about the letter A.
And they all lived happily ever after.
And so, at the end of the show, it's tense. Still tense, Kahal. Let's just have a demonstration again.
I felt that.
Team Light, that's Dan and Kahal. They have 5 points.
Ooh.
Team Fire, Adrian and Lauren, they have 7 points.
Oh!
That means Team Fire, Adrian and Lauren, you go through to the final and face Gareth and Phil. How do you feel?
Yay!
Be happier, but I'm pretty happy.
Team Light, Dan and Kahal, how do you feel?
You're a bad person. That is not fair.
I'm going through to the final.
I'm disappointed. I'm hurt. Be sending letters to a prey of lawyers, and I'll have my revenge.
Team Fire
gets to choose a song to play us out. What's it going to be?
I think we've decided Take On Me by Aha.
Thank you to both our teams. That's Team Light, that's Dan Shott and Cahal McCabe.
Thank you very much. Good to be here. Good to be here.
Team Fire, Adrian McElroy Speed and Lauren Court Dobson.
Yay.
Thanks for coming.
Well done, guys.
And you know, I've learned something today. I've learned, despite studying for a master's in linguistics, Dan knows nothing about collective nouns. Cahal should learn the correct term for a collection of lawyers, which is his actual course. A half hedgehog, a half snowball destroyed the Bourneville chocolate factory. Dr. Parnassus keeps cowpole and peasants in the fridge. Dogs can drown in fake rivers. Poseidon, he's just a wet Satan. Squeezing limes and you see everything. And if you're boring, try surfing. I've been Rory Cook. You've been listening to A Matter of Fiction. Thanks for listening.
Holy free holies, what an incredible show. If you would like to get involved in Comedy in Bangor, look up Bangor Comedy on Facebook. Or you can send us an email to comedy@undeb.bangor.ac.uk.